Kentucky, right? We have Jessica Johnson and Alicia Williams. Thank you. Give them your attention.
So I'm going to start by introducing Jess. But this is Jessica Johnson. She was my voc rehab counselor a couple years ago. And now she has turned out she was my neighbor and has become my mentor and best friend, and who brought me into Aspire. So I'm taking the pleasure of introducing my best friend, Jessica Johnson.
I kind of want to do the same thing. So this is Alicia Williams, and I could not do anything without her because she's like right there. So I do want to give a little bit of my background first, just to explain a little bit. So I was a voc rehab counselor for 7 years, and I left voc rehab unfortunately in December of 2023, which was an extremely hard decision to make, but I did so because I have a young son with disabilities, and I thought that I needed to be home with him, but that did not last very long. And my heart brought me back here. And now I get to do the fun work, the hands-on work, the work with students, and the work that, I don't know, makes the biggest difference, I think.
Makes you feel good.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So now, since January of this year, I've been the lead career counselor at Aspire. And the evaluator, so I do vocational evaluations and other things like that. Okay, so as we've heard it described several times here, like yesterday and already today, collaboration is the most important thing. Everyone in this room plays an absolutely crucial role in the success of all of our students, whether it's a teacher, an OBR counselor, school administrators, school districts, things like that, parents even. But I heard yesterday 3 words: circle, collaboration, and continuum of services, and that's exactly what it is. So regardless of an individual's disability, they will most likely be considered a competent adult at the age of 18 unless legal action is taken. And for many of our students, that's an overwhelming thought, and hell, that's an overwhelming thought for me. And probably all of you at the age of 18.
Even at the age of 40.
I'm 35, yeah, and it's still awful, yeah. So when should pre-eds begin? We prefer to begin pre-eds as soon as possible at the age of 14, but I do want to just kind of quickly insert there that I believe even earlier would be best. Such as, for example, this starts with early recognition by the schools, by the student school district, but it can also start with the parent. So, like with my extensive knowledge in my background, I luckily was able to get my son an IEP and enrolled in our preschool in our county, and he has an IEP already. So he started last year, the day after he turned 3, with an IEP, and he gets some services there. So he goes 2 days a week, and it's been the biggest blessing for me.
This kind of brings back where the voc rehab is the best kept secret. Even though we're talking about pre-eds and older kiddos, I wish I would have known that I could have done that IEP or 504s for my little one when she was little and gotten her into preschool earlier. So really, what we are as a team and continuum, we're also all advocates for these clients, these kiddos, as they grow up all the way through.
So once a student is identified, usually by this, let's just say the school district is most of the time the person that brings it to our attention. Then if we are chosen as the CRP provider to provide pre-eds to these students, then the lead career counselor, which is myself, and then, there's another one in a different region, another lead career counselor, Kathy White, so she and I both, in our areas, will assign, the students to, one of our career counselors at Aspire, based on personality style and individual needs.
Yeah, I think this is something really cool. Each of our career counselors has their own kind of niche. Like, we all know about all the pre-et competencies that we need to cover, but some of us are really, really knowledgeable, like Jess, about all the services that are out there. Some people, like me, are super excited about self-advocacy. That's what's most important to me. I know going to these meetings that we're talking about, that Aspire counselors can go to, the yearly meeting with your school system, your 504 or IEP meeting. I know as a parent, those are very intimidating and overwhelming, and I wish I would have had, and I know as soon as my child is 14, I will have somebody in there with me, because those are overwhelming, they're hard on parents, and I think going into those meetings every year, they asked me what was my goal for my kiddo, and my goal has always been for her to find her voice, but also for her to learn how to use her voice in whatever way works for her, because her voice is not like everybody else's, and that's what this allows us to do. It allows us to, Jessica finds the people who need help in different areas, and she kind of puts the ones that need, a confidence boost or a cheerleader on their side. I usually get lucky and get some of those kiddos because I like to cheer them on.
So for students, I think everybody in this room knows this, but I'm just gonna say, for students to be eligible for pre-ets, these three things need to be met. Age, they need to be between the ages of 14 and 21. They must be enrolled in some kind of educational program, and they must have an IEP, 504 plan, or other documented disability. And this is just a basic list of some of the pre-ets activities, some of the topics and things that we use. We use it a lot during the development of the plan with our students. If we're doing individual, they may not need all 5 pre-ets, but if they are doing, if we do our group pre-ets, some of our career counselors in the past have focused a little bit more on certain things that they really, really are good at, like self-advocacy or something like that. And so if we do group pre-ets, then we assign one of the pre-ets to each month. So we ensure that the students in all those groups are receiving all 5 categories instead of, just a couple. And these are constantly changing. Based on the needs of students, we keep adding to this list. I mean,
if you sit down one-on-one with a student and show them this list and ask them what kind of things they would like help on, they're definitely going to pick things off this list, but then they're going to start saying, well, what about this? Or can you do this? Or can you help me with this too? They come up with their own ideas. So that's why we say it's really always changing, because we are very person-driven, client-driven. We're for the individual, each person that's there, and we kind of conform and meld to what they need.
okay, so the Aspire steps to the whole experience approach to pre-ed, and we are going to break these down next, so I'm not going to read them.
I didn't realize I had to push the button 14 times.
I didn't either. I didn't have it on my computer system.
Here we go.
But I do want to focus on number 13, which is the absolute most important. These pre-ed kids, they're being referred to voc rehab for OB cases from Aspire. When I was a voc rehab counselor, that was one of my hardest things. I couldn't get the CRP vendors that provided pre-ets to send me referrals to open these cases, so I didn't know who they were. I'm not there. I don't in the school, like I don't have an office there in the school, so like if, send it to us and we, the appropriate, we just, they don't know. So I just want to say that's of utmost importance is number 13, so.
We build these relationships, we work on building these relationships with students, and the last thing we want to happen is right when they graduate, and we've been prepping them up for this transition, to drop them, to not show up anymore. So that's why we really do focus on making sure we get them enrolled and start that process early. I learned that the hard way. I'm new at this. So
When she got
That's
somebody
why
a
it's
job, she got somebody a job, was successful, and then unfortunately didn't get employment and retention.
we live and we learn.
Yes, we do. All of us. We'll talk about all these later, quickly. So phase 1 of this approach includes individual pre-eds, portfolios of advocacy, instruction, and job exploration. So in the individualized pre-eds portfolio, we would like to ideally start at age 14 if possible. Sometimes that's not possible, just depending on when they are referred. But the first part of that portfolio, though, is kind of getting to know them. But it's actual, like, giving the student a physical copy of, like a binder, and keep important information in, like cheat sheets for resumes and job applications, cheat sheets for website login information, I love including the assessments and disability documentation and accommodations like IEPs, anything like that, because students will lose them. So we like to have actual physical copies. If we make a resume, I usually print out like 10 of them and put it in there and give it to them, and I'm like, here you go, put this there. It also holds them accountable.
Yeah. We use this opportunity to try to teach them kind of some of those on-the-job skills, that responsibility, that professionalism, to bring that portfolio to all of our meetings. It's not going to happen. It's a learning process. Our career counselors know that and are prepared and have the same documents. But that's kind of like a pat on the back to all of our students when they show up with their portfolio, and we can add to it. Kind of working it all together and making the most out of every little thing. There can be a lesson in it if you look for it.
Second one in phase 1 is
Yeah, self-advocacy, as already said once, this is the one that's most important to me for a lot of reasons. Being an OVR, former OVR client, and becoming disabled when I was like 35, it was not only very hard for me to accept my new disabilities, but also to learn how to talk about them, to tell people it's not something, disabilities are not always visible, they're different. And it's really hard transitioning into that world. I can't imagine how hard it is being born into that world. But I strive every single day to be confident in my own disabilities, and I find that confidence. And so me and my students kind of do that together. We learn how to stand up for ourselves, and we, like I said, for my daughter, we learn how to use our voice. And my kiddo, she's better with emails or a text message, but that's what works for her. And just there's different options and opportunities. So the self-advocacy is so important. Also, nobody has said, they said about how people with disabilities are more likely to be imprisoned, or bad things happen to them. But they also have a higher rate of suicide, and that's a big deal to me. And I'm a crisis counselor too at night, because I need to pay it forward, because I've been there, done that, as a result of my own disability. And that's something to keep in touch with, or keep in mind too, the mental health aspect, and that self-advocacy. Let those kids know that when they have a problem, they have somebody they can speak up to, because we all have problems, we all have our issues, and I really try to make sure to get that across to them.
Yes.
Sorry, I talked way too much about self-advocacy.
Well, no, I think it's one of the most important, the earliest, because otherwise.
Teen suicide rates are crazy, and disabled teens, this is a way we can help them too.
Yes. And then there's job exploration, and so just, exploring jobs, because we need to know this kind of early, so in the first step, because it really depends on, if they're gonna go in straight to the workforce, or if they're going to college, or if they're planning something else, it's really nice to know.
We need to get them thinking about it young too. So they can watch their uncles or their aunts or their grandparents, see what kind of jobs they have, see if that's the kind of job and lifestyle that they want to live, and kind of get that seed planted early so that they're thinking about it as they grow up, or kind of put themselves in that position and imagine themselves there.
Phase 2 of this whole experience approach consists of post-secondary education, work readiness, skill building, and financial literacy. Of course, post-secondary needs, we help the student, research schools, prepare them for college, for training. If they need to go to Carl Perkins, we get that going. There's a ton of post-secondary needs, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about post-secondary stuff in just a second. Workplace readiness, skill building, that is a very extensive part of pre-eds, because all of those like soft skills that we all have for the most part, or, like waking up to an alarm, the kids need to learn those soft skills, and it takes a really long time to develop them well enough. So we're just gonna jump back in real fast to some post-secondary education things that we'll just kind of discuss real fast. So we have 4 different non-traditional scholarships. So I'm gonna let you go through those.
So these scholarships, our CEO developed them for places where she was seeing the need within our own clients. Not, the valedictorian scholarships or whatever. She's trying to help the people that we serve. So,
and so these are also funded by, we fund a lot of our stuff by just leftover monies after salaries, really. I mean,
she manages it well.
Yeah.
And that way we have a lot of money to put back into our plans. So the first way is through the Kentucky College Scholarship. It's $250 to use however they need. And to apply for these scholarships, it's very easy. They just really need to send a letter or an email saying, I want to apply for this scholarship. I'm in your program, and this is where I'm going to go to school, and this is what I need. And they turn in their receipts, and they get a check back for them. So they're pretty easy to get. We have a trade school one. We have the college one that I just said, then we have the trade school. We also have the Jumpstart Career Scholarship, where students can use it to even get new clothes or a new haircut or whatever they need to be successful when they start their new job out of college or out of high school. And then we also have a transportation scholarship, which is $250 towards whatever you need. It can go towards a down payment on your car if you wanted to, or gas cards. But it's, like I said, it's just another way of us being able to give back to the clients that we serve. Are you going to talk about our car program here?
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
We have another program. It's a good place to put that in. Well, we don't have a slide for it, so.
Yeah, so this is a brand new program rolling out, I think in a week or two. So it's a Aspire's new transportation program, again, which is funded through extra funds after our salaries. There's 2 different options for our consumers to get vehicles of their own affordable. The first option, Aspire will purchase a vehicle between about $800 to, $1,000 or $1,500. Luckily, Kimberly's husband is a mechanic.
Our CEO.
Yes, and he repairs the vehicles, but so his labor is free, And so once we get these vehicles rolling out, then they will be offered to any participant that participates in our on-the-road driver's training program, which likely a lot of people don't know about that either.
I'll tell you about that.
Kind of only in our region. However, so anyone that has completed the on-the-road driver's training program with us and completed 90 days of employment are going to be eligible. And I have an example, so the original cost of a vehicle, say it's $1,000. The repair or the parts for repair is, let's just say 600. First month's insurance cost is added 200, registration and other fees 200, for a total cost of $2,000 is all we've put into this vehicle. And so the monthly payments will be 12% of just $2,000, which is going to equal $240 per month from the participant to us, and then they will own the vehicle free and clear.
Yeah,
After-
at the end.
At the end, so 8 months, it's wonderful. And then there's a second option.
It's a little bit more complicated. We're not going to get into it too much. But it's about a way, we're trying to help alleviate another barrier, but it's a ride share program to where you can like buy vouchers to get rides to and from work, and you can cash them in at the end of the year if you don't use it, if you don't need them all. But that's what it's a ride share to help people get to work. Yeah.
So now phase 3 of the whole experience approach to pre-ETS includes visits to businesses to explore different employment options. And then number 8 is everyone's favorite, and we want to talk in detail about this one. We have a paid summer work experience program, and so we actually pay our students. That just falls under the work-based learning experiences for pre-ETS, and so for a few years now, it's been our most popular program, and I really like it just because the student gets paid. They have a mentor one-on-one. It's really easy because it's pre-ETS money, and we don't have to open a PACE. We don't have to open a full OBR case and use PACE funds. And I remember when I was an OBR counselor in like 2018 with David Vincent, and we did like this pilot summer program, and it was awful because I had the transition caseload and I had to open like 50 cases in like a month just so these 14 and 15-year-olds can participate in summer work. So it's way easier to do with pre-ETS. So So Alicia's going to talk a little bit.
So a little more about our summer work program. This summer, we had over 70 students get to participate. So it was an awesome experience for them. It was an experience one of them told me kind of like they learned a lot about themselves. So I kind of say it's like a journey of self-discovery for them the whole summer. They get to start off by seeing the hiring process, talk to somebody one-on-one, go through a mock interview. Sometimes with the companies, it depends on what company we're working at. The manager might even have them come in for an interview, talk to them. That whole process is it makes them feel like a professional. It makes the students feel like an adult in the real world, working a real job, and that's what we want them to walk away with. So it instills a sense of responsibility and professionalism in them. Like they take pride in what they're doing and getting to work there. So like Jessica mentioned, each student works one-on-one with a mentor, and these mentors are their allies, but really we become their advocates on this journey of self-discovery with them. We work alongside of them throughout the summer and refine both job-specific skills. I milked a cow this summer, and also soft skills. One of my students was like, told me at the beginning of the year, I'm not very good with people's names. But by the end of the summer, I was like, well, we're gonna work on that. We can do that because he talked to everybody. By the end of the summer work program, he knew every single person there and knew their name, and that made not only him feel empowered a little bit, but it made the other people, the other students he was working with feel better too, because it showed that he was trying to, learn their name and take that step. And that seems like a small step for some of us, but it was big there. So also they get to work with a couple other students, usually not always, it depends on where they're placed. But it we focus on the importance of teamwork and communication and adaptability, because you might not always be doing the same thing every day. And these kiddos got to see that. Like, they came in and one day we were, it just, the whole gamut was like, depending on where you're at. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get. Like I said earlier, or Jessica said earlier, the students earn an hourly wage of $7.25 per hour. They love this. This is really great for these students. And it's really cool that that's what our CEO, helps us to be able to do. Students can work up to 10 hours a week. The mentors, or 6 to 8 weeks long, so 10 hours a week, we keep them below where they have to, we don't want them to make too much money to where they actually have to file taxes. If they do, if that happens, we'll help them. But, that's something we're gonna get to later on. Oh, they'll get there old enough.
Yeah, we limited it enough.
They'll get there soon enough,
So,
yeah. But also, we eliminate the barrier of transportation. I picked my students up and took them home at the end of every day, and we spent the whole day together. So we really got to know each other and learn skill, what each other were good at, what we liked, what we didn't like. And also something that's really neat about this program, it helps us develop some really great partnerships in the community, mutually beneficial partnerships in the community. We had businesses from law offices to community mental health providers, beauty salons, maintenance departments, mechanic shops, landscape companies, and some farmers all welcomed our students and mentors this past summer in our region. So this collaboration, it really allows our students to get this firsthand experience that they want, and also allows them to make connections with companies and businesses and people in our community where they're going to want to work someday. So that's something that they can hold on to. Maybe next summer, we've already had some say they want to go back to the same place next summer. They want to keep working on those relationships, and we've had employers say, give us some more of those kids. Give us 2 more kids just like Colton. So they're getting their faces out there, and they're getting recognized, and they're doing good. So let's see.
So this year, did you say that we were able to serve over 70 students in just our tiny area, which I think is really impactful, because it's the first year that we've really, in Henderson, in our area, had, this program. It's been in other counties, but ours is, kind of brand new. So I'm pretty excited. And then, after the summer work program, these students are still texting and calling, and, we're gonna go to a football game of the hours that we both worked.
I'm excited.
So
You're gonna get to see some of our students and some testimonials that they sent in for us last night. So these students, they
dropped everything.
They did this for us. That shows you, if you have to call and ask a high school student something on an evening of school night, if they'd be willing to record a video for you, and they're really willing to do it, that says something. So I'm really proud that we had some students that were willing to do this for us. But it shows that, they liked it. It mattered to them. It empowered them, which is a huge thing that we want to do. And so, do we have?
And we were so thankful about that. I think the video's at the end, right?
Yes. Will you please help us? Our IT specialist right here.
Yeah, he's great.
I don't think he's gotten a hand today either. I think he deserves applause. Do you want an applause?
Come
University of Southern Indiana, and over the summer I was able to go through Aspire and Hi there, my name is Ava Denton. I am currently a college student at the University of Southern Indiana, and over the summer I was able to go through Aspire and use their summer work program, and it provided me with so many amazing opportunities to meet people that I never would have been able to meet on my own without their help, and I was also able to get paid for it, which is even better. But it really helped me figure out the aspects of my career that I enjoyed, and also led me to picking psychology as my major.
Hi, I'm May. I was a student at Aspire, and I would say that what the Aspire program meant to me over the summer was working at the YMCA helped me learn some self-discipline, and helped me learn what it's like to have a job, because I wanted a job, and I feel like it kind of taught me like morals and ethics on what to do and what not to do. I very much enjoy it, and I think that it would help me in my future, because now that I know what it's like to have a job, whenever I go get a job for real, I know what to do, I know what to say, I know how to act. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kai, and I work with the Aspire program this summer. I love working with my mentor because she taught me how to use time management skills, how to write progress notes, and so much more. But most importantly, my career counselor placed me in a company that does mental health testing and therapy for people with disabilities. And that's something that I plan on pursuing in the future.
I enjoyed the summer program a whole lot. It taught me a lot of good life lessons. It taught me how to show up on time. We had to follow a strict schedule. We were treated and talked to like adults. We got an amazing experience the entire summer. We learned how to use safety tools. We learned how to use gloves, like how to wear them, when to wear them. We learned a whole bunch. We learned a whole bunch about agriculture and landscaping, and we got real paychecks too. And I mean, it was just altogether a great experience for somebody my age to have.
Those were students. Like, how cool is that? I love it. I love that.
If we have a question back here, if we're allowed, shall we go?
Well, we're tight on time.
Okay. I just wonder, how do you get those employers? How do you get so many great employers on board?
I literally walk into their office and present and beg, and, well, I know a lot of people too, thank God, because we are in a small town, so.
We used every connection we had.
Yep, and I'm not afraid
And
to do it
hopefully
either,
we
yeah.
built some more.
I'm like, hey, my lawyer friend, and then and he was like, my paralegal, sure, absolutely, and then like, I even went to court with them one day, and the kids were so excited, because they want to be lawyers, so like, they went to family court with us, and it was the coolest, like, and I just sat there, and the judge was like, I don't care, it's open court, you know, so I was like, yay!
But we do have a waiver, even if the parents
Oh,
sign
yes,
a waiver
yes.
to say they're not gonna hold any
Yeah.
company, you know.
Aspire's not held accountable for anything, the career counselor, and then of course the employer are the most important, so, you know, they have to sign, you know, certain documentation, but a lot of people are willing. I mean, if you think about it, it's free help, and then they have an adult career, you know, mentor with them, so.
And there's
Most
so
people
many,
are like, okay, it's free help, you know?
yeah, there's so many people like us in the community, parents of children with disabilities that have disabilities ourselves, and those are the people you want to connect with, because those are going to be the more willing people right off. you know, that's your family.
How many like coaches or mentors do you have to have per student when they're on a job site?
So on the job site, you can only have 2 students per mentor at the placement period. Sometimes only 1 shows up, and then sometimes 2. I mean, we take the funds that would, so pre-ed pay, that would normally come to us for, you know, the student. Well, we just take out from like whatever, or, you know, hourly pay is the $7.25 and give that to the student. So I just love it. I think it's great. So we're totally not done, but we can,
I don't mean to rush you along.
hold on, no, go ahead, sorry,
And just a reminder, guys, if you have, we are
I'm gonna
trying
skip
to stay
ahead real
on
fast.
time. So if you've got questions, that's why we've got the pads and the papers. You can sit.
I knew we would talk too much. Knew we would. We missed your cue, Dorothy.
This is just, I wanted to again stress the importance of a referral to OBR for an open case, because I stress so hard to my pre-ed students. You know, if I know they need further assistance, I'm like, we're doing this, like, and I mean, we just will take them, you know.
No, we
I'm like,
take them to their meeting.
it's just much easier that way, and so, that's very important. Yeah. Okay, so what other services do we provide to eligible pre-ed students, and that means you have an open case? Aspire as a community rehab program, we do all of the pre-ed, pre-vocational training, driver's permit tutoring. We have on-the-road driver's instruction. We do job employment and retention services. We are, I believe, going to start supported employment, traditional supported employment in our agency. We do assessments, so I do the CVEs, the comprehensive vocational evaluations, and then sometimes I do random academic or aptitude interest things, assessments. And then we talked about all those? Yeah.
We did have one more thing. We went around and showed you. We'll make it really fast.
Yeah, last thing we'll do it really
On
fast.
everybody's table. I put a sheet just so you could look at it if you wanted to. They were upside down.
This is just important to us, and so we just wanted to throw it out there real fast to everybody.
It's a way that we're helping try to identify some of the students at the age, earlier ages that do need extra help in the school system. So we started this kindness crew.
Yes. So the idea of the kindness crew, I'm just gonna say, so neither of these kids are 14 yet. They are both 12. This one is my daughter. She's, a straight A student. She's an athlete. She's a natural leader. And I have taught her about disabilities and inclusion and love since, she was born. And the other one,
That's my girl.
and
That's fine.
so we are going to, we're just really, really excited to use this peer mentoring approach to where we have a peer mentor work with like not one-on-one, well, kind of, but so like them two would work together, and then other mentors would, have somebody else with autism or this or that, and we are going to mainly be focusing on like self-advocacy, communication skills, and team working skills through a random acts of kindness in the community, which was Alicia's idea, and I love.
And in the schools, we're gonna try to, help with some of the bullying issues and stuff, and try to change the culture from, because we, like they said in the video yesterday, kids with disabilities are the targets. And if we can start young and show, doing nice things is one thing that makes you feel good. Doing nice things together helps you bond with people. We need students like Grace, Jessica's daughter, who builds up the other kiddos, like my Lucy, who doesn't talk, and but wants to do nice things and wants to have friends, to connect with these kiddos that are more outgoing and more willing, and get to do these nice things together, and get to build friendships and groups and partnerships, and then eventually we're gonna get them rolling in with Priettes. But that's just something we did with our leftover funds too, because we saw it working for our girls. So, thank you.